Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everybody. I'm Preacher Moss, host of the SOS, the Shout Out Show. I hope everybody's having a great week. We are, of course, Wednesday hump day. We are the Wednesday before the election, brothers and sisters. We have so many things that are going on. We have so many things in the current news. We have rallies by the Republicans in Madison Square Garden. We have Vice President Kamala Harris on the elliptical making her last closing arguments to be president. But I decided today to digress. I decided to make this broadcast, if you will, something of merit, something that we all have to talk out. And in talking this out, we gain merit about what is going on. When I say merit, it means we earn this conversation. And for the African American and the immigrant Muslim here in the United States, we have earned this conversation. Today's topic is, let's be honest about this election. There are so many things that have happened in this election that have dismayed me, as well as many of you. We're talking, of course, as the aspect of genocide in Palestine. We have all these things, a plethora of issues that are going on. But today's topic is, how do we micromanage some of the lack of emotional intelligence that has gone into some of our decisions? How do we step back and understand that the players in the game have never changed? The players in the game have just learned better how to play the Muslim community. When I say play the Muslim community, I'm saying go before October the 7th, 2023. Understand the scope of what happened the last election, who got played the last election, how people were rolled up in some regards, going all the way back to the Obama presidency, but particularly Biden, Trump, Biden, and now potentially Biden-Harris. I'm going to ask you guys to let me indulge my comedy academic, if you will, my comedian academic. I mean, we have great academics out there. The only problem with being an academic, you have to be an academic. When you're a comedian, you can be an academic, but you can still have the fact that you can retain a sense of humor. When you're academic, you have to defend positions, and that's the nature of the game. That's the nature of the market. For being an academic, I have no problem with that. God bless you. But there's a certain thing that's called getting it from the dirt. And that term of getting it from the dirt has so much to do with where you get your information. What type of history is tied to your information? Who are the people that grow and nurture you? Who are the people that are part of your circle of influence that say, wait, we understand what the world is saying, but I've known you. This is our world. This is what matters. And in this 2024 election cycle, it is important to say that we have been played like a Count Basie band, like a Prince guitar, like Jimi Hendrix guitar, like Max Roach drums. The Muslim entity, the brand, has been played. And when this election is over, and it will be over very soon, we'll be left to pick up the pieces of our Muslim identity and Muslim brand that have been co-opted in this whole project. It's a cold game, brothers and sisters, but you know it's a cold game. It's been a cold game for a long time. The fact of the matter is, many of us have forgotten, the fundamental aspect of courage in these situations. The fundamental aspects of asking questions, calling truth to power, not through social media, right? Not through protests that are empty. I'm talking about hitting people where they are, talking about their core values in a large, robust way, in a way by people begin to feel uncomfortable. The thing that happened in this election, and I'm going to say it very carefully and slowly, the Muslim brand failed to make anybody feel uncomfortable. It failed miserably to make politicians uncomfortable, Islamophobes uncomfortable, Democrats uncomfortable, and Republicans uncomfortable. You may have negotiated compromise, but you're on the other side of the compromise. And this is, of course, for our Muslim wannabe politicians. God bless you. I have no judgment against you. God bless you. But from where I'm standing, the street game, the game in the street, the descendant of a slave that says when you get it from the dirt, that's because you had to put something in the dirt. You had to invent something in the dirt. You see, Muslim politics and the whole idea of the Muslim political lobby is based on the fact that it's not grown from the dirt. It has no narrative that's collectively identified with the struggles and the growth, evolution of America. That politic is African Americans, African Muslims, Native Americans, and please, 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 can we get rid of this thing of people of color? Because people of color is basically saying, let's create a rainbow, and at the end of the rainbow, let's make sure black people stay. If you look at a rainbow never has a black strip. Okay, to get rid of people of color, we're gonna keep it real here today, here on the Shout Out Show. We got a lot to talk about. Listen, so don't move. We'll be right back. We'll start the show. Glad you're with me, and peace and blessings. Don't move. We'll be right back. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. All right, we're back. Thank you so much for sticking with us. Before I even get into it, let me give some shout outs real quick. I want to give a shout out to our shout out families. That's Sister Ree, Brother Bilal Salahuddin, and of course his queen, Sister Sonia Dalton Salahuddin. I appreciate that text you gave me, Sister. It was very, very informative, and of course it aligns with some of the things we've been talking about on the show. People will come on the show, Brother Altaf Rashid from Toronto. Big shout out to you. Assalamu alaikum to my brother JT. Brother Eric from down South Carolina, Brother Mark Kennedy. Last week we had Brother Hamid Safir Sahar, who was amazing in his speech. We have a lot of people out in Instagram land. Let me give them some love too. Let's see, Ras Mali. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum. We have Tamara, Sister Tamara. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ras Mali. Akima, assalamu alaikum, sister. Maybe Mariomi, assalamu alaikum, sister. My sister from Charlotte, how you doing? Shout out to you and your family. 99 Hidden Gems, Aliha and Ibn Donald. How you doing, brother Ibn Donald? Assalamu alaikum. And Sister Salima Civics, who is a very good friend of mine, very good friend, one of my dearest friends. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to this Sister Salima. Listen, let me get to the topic. It's really interesting how this election is played out. For so many years, let's go beyond. Let's go back before October 6th. The elections that happened before essentially came down to the fact that people who are strategists, Democratic and Republican strategists, find out who the two groups are. It used to be who could push you over the finish line so you could win. And with mass information, disinformation, whatever, social media, the philosophy and the chemistry now, and the algorithm is who can you keep from going to the finish line? So not who can push you over, but who can keep you. And so the varying camps have figured out these particular groups. Again, they're trying to say people of color. But when it comes down to it, they say Latinos, they say blacks. It is racialized without a doubt. My thing and what I'm going to point out here is the Muslim community got played. 150% played. In a way that it bothers me now, because when this election is over, you're going to find some very hurt feelings and some major fractures within the Muslim community, and we will not be working together. One of the major fractures is going to happen, brothers and sisters, as people evolve in their political identity, align with their religious identity. What's going to happen is there's going to be a fracture, and that fracture is something we've been talking about for a lot of years. It's been a word. It's a fracture between African American Muslims and immigrant Muslims. African American Muslims and immigrant Muslims. What's been told here now is an environment has been set up by the political pundits and the people who would be president and to those who pushed them over the finish line, that they have gotten to a point where they're not elevating people, they're elevating arguments through people. Whereby the whole idea of robust conversation in our own family, in our own neighborhoods, in our own masses has now been co-opted. So we now become mouthpieces for all of these people. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not a political novice. I look at politics all the time. But what happened this year was that you had third party, things like that. And there's nothing wrong with a third party. What's wrong is when third parties and first parties and major parties figure out that they can expose us and expose us in a way that is embarrassing. Expose us in a way that we can be together before October 7th. And let me throw this out here. Before October 7th, we can be together. But after October 7th, it became, I'm going to specialize on things. And social media and the roll up and everything that you saw on social media and the news and the treatment of Palestinians, this genocide has happened, abhorrent. It's unacceptable. But it can't be to the point where you start denying people their ability and their right to choose. Their ability and their right to choose. You see, all these political folks and these new things against Harris, Let me ask you a question. Before October 7th, where were you? Where were you? A year before October 7th, where were you? Is that to say that this genocide and this crime against the Palestinian people is not going on? Of course it was. It never stopped. From 1948 to as I speak now, it never stopped. And somehow the arrogance of having a Muslim community all of a sudden co-opted by this topic, co-opted, means that all of a sudden this is what we're talking about. No, this is not what we're talking about. I acknowledge it. I support it. But you know what? I got a life to live. We have kids to put to school. We have jobs. We have to deal with the economy. You know, the Muslim community at some point in time, through all this peace, these things that are going on, you know what happened? We forgot how to chew gum and walk at the same time. And that's a damn shame. Because we are multifaceted people. We are diverse people. But when the light is put on us, and the master says, dance, we dance. We put political pressure on our government. We put political pressure on our leaders to stand up, not just stand up for Palestine, but to give us a resolution, rectify the situation. I'm going to be real bold. But what the hell are all the other Muslim countries doing that are right next door to Palestine? What are they doing? Ain't nobody saying let's protest Saudi Arabia. We're not going to go to Umrah until Saudi Arabia does something about Israel. Saudi Arabia is getting ready to have a deal with Israel to make money. They hand in hand. You have to understand that when people stand down like that, it's for a reason. It's not that they're afraid. It's not that they're afraid. It's that they have something to benefit. See, when you're afraid, you fight. When you have something to benefit, you kind of sit back and fall back. Ain't nobody calling out Dubai. Ain't nobody calling out the UAE. Huh? Ain't nobody calling out Egypt. Huh? Ain't nobody calling out all these Muslim countries that are right in the area next door and can't do a damn thing about it. And now we're watching Lebanon and Iran get bombed and all these things be attacked by Israel. And I'm like, you know what? Because you open the door. And now the situation is, if you have any kind of creative talents, political creativity, ingenuity, you're taxed. You're not going to get taxed by the people who are outside of the community. You get taxed by the people who are inside the community. We've created a culture now whereby we have Muslims admonishing and scolding other Muslims at the behest of these people. These people are saying, go talk to your people. We're saying things to other Muslims, our own Muslims, that they can never say to us. I'm not saying it's a cold game, but you know what? It's a very, very, very visible game. This is a very lucid thing that's happening in front of us. Just the same as you turn on the TV, now it's so much information about Gaza and Palestine. Now to the point it's like they've been bombing this place for a year. There's nothing left. I hate to say this, but there's nothing left. They're talking about 30 years to rebuild Gaza. 30 years, hell, 30 years, I'll be 87. I don't know how old you'll be. Some of us ain't even gonna be around. Okay, preach. What am I saying? I'm saying, listen, this whole idea of the conscious vote, okay? I'm gonna do the conscious vote. I'm gonna tell you why you can do the conscious vote. And don't get me wrong. But you can do the conscious vote. You know why? Because let's say Trump wins. When Trump wins and does win, some of y'all ain't gonna be affected. You don't have to worry about drugs in your neighborhood. You don't have to worry about dilapidated schools. You don't have to worry about prison industrial complex affecting your neighborhoods and your suburbs in some cases. You don't worry about those things. It's a feel-good vote, which is the most ridiculous thing I've seen in the world. The whole idea of a conscious vote is an incompetent vote. It's an incompetent vote. If you want to know what MAGA is, it's an allegiance of people who they are incompetent voters. They don't know what hurts them. The worst part is they can't get close to the facts because the facts would embolden them more to believe that they're experts about their condition. It will embolden them more to believe that, yes, we do. That their vote or understanding the political system is way higher than it actually is. And on the flip side, for the whole idea of the conscious vote, let me tell you something. It's easy to sit out. Huh? It's easy to sit out. See, when you're on a hill and the water comes down here, you go, I don't have to worry about the water's going downhill. You don't worry about the people who are down at the bottom of the hill. They're flooding. To you, it might be 3 drops. To them, it's a freaking monsoon. And in that space, we've come to where we are now. And we snipe, we yell at one another, we call each other names. This is not our community. And I would even go further. This is not the community of Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, who left this for us. We've compromised ourselves. The thing about these, they talk about black voters and stuff. Let me tell y'all something. I don't have a problem with black folk that want to vote for Trump. You're gonna have your reasons. You don't have to give me your reasons. I don't want to know. Some people equate voting for Trump with being upwardly mobile. There are Muslims who will vote for Trump because they believe that whiteness gives them that upper mobility. You'll find out. You'll get your wake-up call. You'll get your Muslim or Negro wake-up call, but that's not the point. You are allowed to do that. I'm not going to shout you down because I can't do anything about it. When you pull that curtain and you vote, you're voting your conscience. Okay? But let me throw this over. I'm not saying vote, but I'm saying damn it, have an educated vote. Have an educated vote. Why are we stuck in this emotional roller coaster about the electoral process when we've been knowing it for years? This whole idea of I don't have choices and I don't like him, I don't like her. And you know what that is? That's called being black in America. My grandfather didn't have the right to vote. He had to deal with terrible candidates. He couldn't even vote against a bad candidate when he came up. He was in his 50s. He was in his 50s or late 40s, 50s before he had got the chance to vote. Do you understand what I'm saying? Am I making it clear now? This whole idea of the conscious vote, that's because you didn't have to fight for the vote. You didn't have to fight for the vote. You didn't have to turn up missing down in Mississippi. You didn't have to have people turn on water hoses and sick dogs on you. You know how the conscious vote, you know what it is? It's a privilege vote. And now you go, oh, I can do, let me tell you something. If this was 64 and 65, you wouldn't matter. You wouldn't matter. You wouldn't matter. And I'm talking to a ton of Muslims right now. You wouldn't matter. Why? Because everything around you said that you didn't have the human capacity or just the basic human value to cast a vote. And you're a fool to think that your vote has changed anything from the last 40, 50, 60 years? That this America is different than my grandfather's America? That's a damn lie. It's worse. You know why? Because black folk that came over with my granddad, they knew that these people had absolutely no regard for you. They had no intention to do anything in your best interest. So what's a vote? So what's a vote? Well, I'm going to tell you what a vote is. It's symbolic. I'm going to throw it out to you. All these elections can be had. If you got the right hustle, you got the right technology, you can put in who you want to be president. And it doesn't matter. America's getting hacked by quote unquote Iran, Russia, China. Who knows what the real reality is or who won? I'm going to tell y'all something. I remember when George Bush and Al Gore ran for president. And it came down to a handful of votes in Florida that George Bush had lost. And he called his brother down in Florida, Jeb Bush. And Jeb Bush made a call. All of a sudden, he went to a Republican court. And guess what happened? George Bush won. Changed the course of America. Are you hearing me talking the conscious vote? So here's my deal. I don't care who you vote for. It's your business. It's your business. But understand, who I vote for is my business. Who I want to elect is my business. And it's not for me to get shouted down at fundraisers. It's not for me to get shouted down in my match shit. It's not for me to get shouted down in my house. I have this inalienable right to cast a vote. Potentially the smartest voting body in America is the Muslim vote. The most cultured, sophisticated, advanced voting body in America is the Muslim vote. And in 2024, we got played. Reduced to name calling, reduced to threats, reduced to analogies that would send one group that voted for the next group to hell. That's not what we're about. That's not what we're about. That's not what gets us progress. What gets us progress is dialogue. Now, we, at this point in time, and my mentor, Mr. Gregory, talked about this, that there was no really active Muslim political action committee that could command an audience, right? That could command an audience to change policy. And we have some coalitions that are working, and God bless them all. But I'm talking about the congealed power to change an election. Look at how they pander. They had a rally in Madison Square Garden. Had a comedian said some off-color stuff about Puerto Rico. All the Puerto Rican stars, some of whom had given this endorsement to Donald Trump, said, "I'm taking my endorsement back." And Republicans and Democrats say all shifted away. Like, wait a minute, 500,000 Puerto Ricans in Pennsylvania? That can turn it. They're not even talking about Dearborn anymore, right? And then shout out to all my Muslim brothers and sisters in Dearborn. Okay, I understand what you're saying, but you got to make some hard choices. Now, you're a fool if you think you're going to sit out the election. You know why? Not only you're a fool, you're selfish. Because the election, if you're sitting out the election solely on Palestine, you need to be smacked upside your head. Do you know what else is going on in the world? Do you have that kind of energy for what's going on in Yemen? Do you have that kind of energy for what's going on in Somalia or the Congo? Do you have that kind of energy for what's going on around here in the United States? Do you have that kind of energy for prison industrial complex. Our brothers that are getting locked up. You have that kind of energy for brothers who are reasonably innocent, but they were electrocuted any damn way. Do you have that kind of energy? And then can't chew gum and walk at the same time. I guarantee you this, and I said it before. Ceasefire in the arms of Israel may or may not happen. Because I'm going to tell you why. And history shows you it hasn't happened. It hasn't happened before. All of this is posturing, brothers and sisters, or the rallies and all of that. It's good for awareness. But when it comes down to the nitty-gritty, are you moving the needle? Are you moving the needle? Mid-1990s, Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan called for a march of 1 million black men. We all showed up on time. This is Nation Islam Muslims, this is Sunni Muslims, Shia Muslims, Ahmadiyya Muslims. Everybody came out. This is black men from all over the range of America. Even black men from Canada came out. Okay? The fact of the matter is, it showed power. It showed power. It showed that we, despite all our diversity, we could come together when it came to what? Understanding the nature and the importance of the black man and how it informed the black family. And how we had to look at so many things. We had to look at the black woman. We had to look at our education. We had to look at our businesses. This is real. When's the last time the Muslims done that? The only thing close to 1 million man or 2 million man march is Hajj. Hajj. So my challenge is, if you're going to sit out, any of us are going to sit out, we're going to have the conscious vote and sit out. I want to know what you're going to do. Don't sit out and have a conscious vote if you're not going to do something. You know, you know the hadith, you know the hadith, right? Change it with your hand, change it with your mouth, change it with your heart. Hey, I'm gonna tell y'all something. That's all well and good, alhamdulillah. I ain't grow up that way. We change it with our hands. In America, African Americans and African Americans, we change it with our hands. And so, how do you change it with your hands? You know why? Because these hands come from the pioneers. These hands come from my ancestors that actually tilled the soil. They went from slaves in the field, to owning their own crops and building and growing. In this constituency of people who feel like I can throw an election, you're an absolute freaking idiot. I'll say this now. If I find Trump wins, I want you to stand on it. I want you to stand on it. Stand on it. And say, you know what? I wanted him to win, and this is what I did. Stand on it. For those who want Trump to lose, stand on it. I'm going to take it either way. But I don't want you to hide, though. As I say, don't throw a rock and hide your hand. Oh, hell no. Stand front and forward. After election night, stand front and forward. All right? Because if Trump wins, I want you to stand on it. If he loses, stand on it. But damn it, you're going to stand for something. We're going to get out of here momentarily, but I just want to tell folks, listen, vote your conscience. And for the Muslim community, you know what? We're going to be fractured when this is over. It's going to be a lot of bad feelings and hurt feelings and emotions and things like that. Whether Trump wins or Harris wins, it doesn't take away the fact that we are a fractured community right now. And if we don't get it together, not only are we going to be a fractured community, we might as well be colonized just like the slaves were in the early 1600s. Book it. Get your act together, Muslims. See you guys after the election. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Preacher Moss, shout out show.